Yo, what up gamers, I'm Report Arc and welcome to my 12.5 ADC tier list. Sorry, this is 12.5B. This is the second tier list we're doing for this patch because we just got a bunch of new changes on this patch. So just to start off, here's the tier list. If you just want to look at the tier list and leave, well, now's your chance. Aside from that, though, we'll go through the changes and I'll tell you guys how I've adjusted my picks based off of that. So most of these changes were actually to ADC. It's kind of funny because in the actual patch, they barely changed any ADCs at all. So my tier list for the initial patch was like very, very tiny. Like the video itself was like super short because there was very little to cover. Now we got a lot more material to cover though, so that's nice. So we're starting off with the fellows. Base armor reduced to 26, base health reduced by 20. So lost 2 armor as well. I'm guessing that's... Actually, I can try and check his run rate real quick. It's only gonna be based off of like 2,000 games, but like I find these kind of changes hard to rank. Let's just see how he's doing so far. Okay, so far run rate went down by, oh my god, that is a huge drop. About 0.8%, I guess. Yeah, which is about what I expected for him. So I already had him somewhere in B tier, and I moved him down to C tier. That's a pretty decent nerf. I mean, 0.8% is not the end of the world, but I think he was already not in the greatest spot for solo queue right now in the current meta, and so this hit put him down to C tier. Fortunately, he was too strong in pro play, so they kind of had to hit him. Meanwhile, we've got Ashe. W mana cost 70 at all ranks. Now... starts at 75 but decreases by 5 every level to 55 at max rank. Not really sure how to rank that because like the main point I feel that you have mana issues is in the early game anyway. So this helps you where you have least have the issues anyway. Still a buff though, you know, it's nice. So I don't know why they made you have more mana, even more mana cost on it at level 1, but that's not the biggest issue. Aside from that though, we got the reduction to her ultimate down by 20 seconds at rank 1. And I feel like that's actually a pretty significant change because like the window, like a extra 20-second window in lane where you get to use your ultimate where potentially the enemies won't have their ultimates yet. Either, like after using them in a fight, that's really huge. So I feel like now Ashe is gonna have this window where she's usually gonna have her ultimate up by quite a decent amount before the enemy sees. She can really use that to abuse them in lane. The enemies now have to be really cautious and concede a lot of pressure to the Ashe if they don't want to get out by the ultimate. So as a result of that, I think I had her already at the top of B tier and I've moved her up to A tier. I feel like she's gonna be in A tier now. Aside from that, we got Draven with the 2 base AD increase. Base AD increases to ADCs generally tend to be quite a big deal. Whether that'll be quite a big deal for Draven, I don't know, because his auto attacks already do quite a bit of damage because of his axes, and his axes skill, I believe, off of bonus AD rather than base AD. So this won't actually affect his axe damage, and the base AD increase to his auto attacks while he's using axes won't be like quite as big a percentage increase as it would be to other ADCs when they're auto attacking. So I don't know whether that'll be a huge deal for him or not, but I did go ahead and bump him up from like middle of B tier to top of B tier. And potentially we could see him move to A tier. I might move him to A tier in the next patch. We'll have to see what the results say. At the moment, I did check his win rate has gone down because his pick rate has massively increased, and all these people are having to relearn Draven. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll even be able to properly rank how the changes based off of win rate, but we'll see. Then we got some changes to Jinx. Q Fishbone's mana cost now is 20 at all ranks again. They reverted a buff that they did sometime in season 11. And the Q Fishbone's range is now only 80 at rank 1 rather than 100. It still scales all the way to where it used to, at 200 extra range. Rank 5, but your laning phase is now going to be significantly weaker, especially in earlier levels, because you're going to be losing out on 20 range, which is a pretty big deal. Even at rank 3 is still, you're missing 15 range. Rank 2 you're missing 15 range, rank 3 you're missing 10 range, and especially rank 1, that's a pretty significant nerf. I'm actually really sad about that. Which it's kind of deserved. I feel like she did kind of have like kind of too good a laning phase for somebody who's meant to be so weak in lane, because her range was just so high. But yeah, gonna suck for Jinx players. I feel like that's gonna move her from S tier, where I had her before, to A tier. Probably, I doubt she'd go down as far as B tier, because, you know, her scaling is still fine. But it was a significant nerf. Also, the mana thing, it may not seem like a big deal, but ever since that change, I did find myself just looking at my mana and thinking, like, man, with how many rockets I've used, I would actually already be out of mana if not for that buff. And now that's reverted, so in this kind of situations, I will be already out of mana. It is, like, each change is already, like, I feel like, notable nerf to her laning phase, and when you add them both together, it's gonna be quite a big hit to her laning phase, I feel like. Especially the range thing. The range thing is by far the biggest deal. But the mana thing was already a decent nerf as well, I feel. Then we got Lucian, so 0.6 more AD per level, for a total of plus 10 AD at level 18. That seems like a pretty big change. Like, it definitely helps the scaling a lot. I feel like 10 AD for free is quite big. Obviously, it's not going to be most games you're not going to be reaching the full 10 AD, but you know, even having like plus 5 AD at, say, level 9, that's already going to be quite big, I feel like. And then we've also got a buff to his passive, which now scales with 20% of his AD instead of 10%. And that also feels like it's going to be a pretty big deal. I don't know exactly what the numbers are like, whether most of his damage for most of the game tends to be from the base damage or whether it's from the scaling. But I imagine doubling the scaling on his passive has to be quite a big deal. So far, he has seen about a 1% increase so far in this patch. So it does seem like a big deal. So I've moved him from about middle of C tier, I believe he was, to top of B tier. Maybe he might even deserve to be a bit further up. Maybe top of B tier, or maybe he'll even make it to A tier next patch. I'll have to wait and see, because I still feel like he's very niche. He's only pickable, or really strong, with a few supports, which are like Nami, Sona. I can't remember what else, maybe Tarek. So just being so reliant on few supports, I'm hesitant to put him like really high up on the tier list, but we'll see. Hopefully this will help him be viable without those particular supports. From that, after that, we've got changes to Varus. So this is apparently a complete revert of the change they made to his on-hit back when they first added the active to his W. I don't know how big a deal it is, though. I mean, these numbers are very small, and they don't come into effect until you start maxing W, which even for on-hit Varus will only be, you know, starting from level 8. So I mean, it's basically not going to affect lethality Varus at all. He just starts maxing it far too late for that to be a big deal. And even then, the attack speed on lethality Varus is just too slow for it to matter. But on-hit Varus might see, I don't know, like a 0.5% win rate increase, which is okay. But it might not even be that. I'm not sure, because I mean, these numbers are very small, honestly. That being said, though, we do also have a change to his R. Now gains 50 damage at rank 2 and 100 damage at rank 3. Doesn't affect his rank 1 ultimate though, which I feel like is the biggest deal. Like, if it's not impacting his rank 1 ultimate, I feel like it's not gonna have too much of an effect over him. It will be nice, I guess, at ranks 11, or well, ranks 2 and 3. But I feel like that kicks in too late to have much of a difference overall over his strength, so yeah, these two changes combined, I don't expect them to have too much impact, maybe 0.5%, like I said, but not much more than that. Then for Zeri changes, you're gonna have to read these yourself, because I refuse to read all this. This is far too much text. I had a skim over it. There are some small buffs in there, but mainly nerfs. Quite big nerfs, actually. It's kind of hard to rank them, so for the best I can guess is based off of the data so far, we see her win rate has dropped by about 1.3%, I think it was. Yeah, which is quite a big hit for these changes, and it might go down even further, who knows. So far her pick rate has massively dropped, as you can see. People do not like these nerfs. So yeah, my best guess is that the nerfs are significant, and so I've moved Zeri from, I think I had her middle of A tier or bottom of A tier. I've moved her to the bottom of B tier, and maybe she'll end up even lower, but I don't think so. It does seem like when I first read these, I thought they were maybe gutting her. Doesn't even seem like she belongs in C tier though, like based off of the numbers on her win rate so far. It's not crazy low win rate. She is still viable for sure. You know, same level as like Kai'Sa, Sivir, Ezreal, Lucian, Senna, like in my book. So yeah, I mean, if you enjoy Zeri, you can still keep playing her. It's just not going to be the greatest champion anymore for climbing with. But as for how this affects like her bruiser build or relative to her crit build, I have no idea. This might affect both builds equally. It might disproportionately affect one more than the other. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see the data on that next patch. It's just really hard to say, given how many changes there are and how complicated the champion is, Zeri is already. But because this significant nerf to her base AD has happened, I'm guessing it is actually going to be a bigger hit to Bruiser, because I don't think Essence Reaver relies on your base AD, right? I think it's based off of your bonus AD, which so that would be a nerf to Triforce, but it wouldn't be a nerf to Essence Reaver. So we might just see crit builds being the standard on Zeri now, but I'm just not sure. It's just too hard to say. Anyway, that's gonna be all the changes for this patch. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future, guys. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Later, gamers.